Welcome, Falcon fans. I'm Dandy Dan, and I'm here with the head coach of your Lake Dallas Falcons, Mike Young. Coach, first of all, I'd like to congratulate you on last week's victory over the Mustangs from Carrollton Creekview as a 42-14 win. Evens the Falcons' record at 4-4. More importantly, we are 3-2 in District 14 5A and vying for that playoff spot. But really, I think the real story of the game was the play of freshman quarterback Drew Sanders. He was 7 of 11 passing for 115 yards, took care of the ball there, and ran the ball for 176 yards on 19 carries, 4 TDs. Just discuss your thoughts on Drew Sanders for that game.
Well, he played really well. I thought the main thing was his poise and kind of it wasn't too fast for him. He took his time, getting the plays and got everybody lined up where they were supposed to be. I thought he just did a great job of handling all that stuff. He had a couple errant throws, and usually, that's, I think, a little bit nerves early in the game, but he made the throws he needed to make, and he brought some explosive running plays that are really dire need for us offensively now, the way people are kind of playing us. So, and that's a thing that can really help us in tonight's game, too, because Little Elm's going to do a lot of the same thing, a lot of man-to-man coverage, zero coverage, so that means when you break a run, you have a chance to take it to the distance. No safety. You got DBs playing man-to-man, not watching the run. And if we break a tackle or bust one, it could be a big one. It'd be big again tonight.
Speaking of his play, he's the third quarterback to lead the Falcons to a victory this year by putting at least 40 points on the board. We're down to the third string, but just talk about your quarterback play overall and the way all three of them can lead.
Yeah, it's been really good. There's a lot of people that if they had to play their third string quarterback, their season would be done. A lot of teams would be the first to tell you that. So it's been really, we've been blessed with having quarterback depth. We said that at the beginning, and it's paid off for us, and we're still in contention here in a district with some good football teams to make the playoffs playing with our third guy. So, and I think he played really well last week, and we'll expect another good one tonight.
Defense also played very well. They gave up one late touchdown. They got off the field when they needed to, didn't let them convert a whole lot of third downs. They also forced 3 turnovers. 2 of them were interceptions, and those are only your second and third of the year. But talk about the play of your defense.
Well, they played really well, and that's the main thing is the turnovers. And they kind of go in stretches. We've had a kind of a difficult year creating turnovers, and so hopefully this will kind of spark us here to get some more. That's sometimes how it goes. You'll go 3 or 4 weeks and not create very many, and then all of a sudden get 3 or 4 in a game, 2 or 3 games in a row. So I thought they played well. They did what they were supposed, needed to do. Got stops, got turnovers, and hope we carry that into this week.
Do you think your big boy Jacob Schuster had a chance to score on that one he picked off?
Yeah, that was a nice play because that was a good catch. It was kind of behind in some traffic and kind of got up on him, and he made a good catch. But yeah, defensive score would be, is a huge play. It's really I count a defensive touchdown to be about a 10-point play. So. Something like that would be great tonight.
Hey, not trying to pick on anybody, but sometimes you learn lessons the hard way. Charles Williams had a rough game from holding on to the football. I know Nick and I talked about it during the broadcast. After that second fumble, he really did a good job of covering up. But can you sometimes have an eye-opener or a real focus moment after something like that? And do you expect Charles to be a different player when it comes to holding on to the football?
Yeah, Charles is defend him a little bit. He's been a receiver. He's been kind of thrown into this running back role, and it's probably one of the most difficult positions if you haven't been playing it a lot to just get thrown in there and play running back. It's not just the blocking, the handling the ball, all the different footwork. Almost every handoff, every play has different footwork he's going to have to learn. He had a couple that he was switching hands, got hit. Charles is, a competitor. He plays hard. There's nobody cares more about it than Charles. So you don't have to yell and scream and holler about Charles. He knew it was. He took it hard, but he learned from it. He had a great week of practice, working on that stuff. And every practice he gets on the footwork and the ball handling stuff that we do on Mondays will make him better. And you never want to say it, but hopefully we've got those put away.
Well, you could see he cares because you could see the frustration that he visibly showed. And there was a couple after that second one. I really liked what I saw. This along with another instance, but Jacob Machuca went up to Williams after that, And I don't know what he was said. It looked like an encouragement, like, hey, stick with it. The other situation I like to talk about, late in the game, there was a breakdown in coverage between Tyron Bridgewater and Michael Bear. Gave up a late touchdown, but immediately those two players went and addressed each other. And it looked like a very positive conversation. Can just give us your thoughts on communication with a team, whether it's encouragement or being on the same page or talking to each other. But communication's big at any level in any job. Talk about it in a team atmosphere.
Well, we've always stressed here, and we've stressed it with this group. Bad things are always going to happen. Football, there's ups and downs, there's tough times. The main thing is to stay positive. It never helps to come over to the sideline and throw helmets and yell and holler. I think that's the worst thing you can possibly do in those situations. We see it on TV in the NFL and in college, and it makes no sense. If everybody's playing hard, then obviously they didn't do those things on purpose. And the best way to get over those and get on with the game is to talk to each other, encourage each other, and we stress it with our coaches. It's a tough game, and there's some yelling and some hollering. Don't get me wrong. We don't need to yell and scream at Charles after he fumbles the ball. Charles knows he fumbled the ball. He's not dumb. He didn't know it. He just didn't do it, and he knows why. And he cares about it. If he didn't care and wasn't playing hard, it'd be one thing. So, in like our DBs, Michael's new. He's learning, and we've talked about it, and Bridgewater knows that the best way to do it is to go over and talk to him and fix it in a way instead of yelling and screaming. And we tell the guys too, there's going to be bad things that happen, and out there on the field. And one thing that I can't stand is watching people kind of show up their teammate in that, well, you did that wrong. They want everybody in the stadium to know that, well, that's the guy that screwed this up, and that's why it was messed up. And that's something I'm proud of. Our kids have learned that they don't do that. Well, we always make the comment, the palms up, gesture. That drives me crazy. That's kind of showing that, well, that wasn't my fault, and kind of looking at somebody else so everybody knows. And I'm proud of our kids for buying into that, and I think it helps teams, especially young teams like us, get better and stick together.
Yeah, it's good to hear. I viewed it totally as a positive when I saw those things happen, and so hopefully that does, like you say, just help this team moving forward. Right now I'd like to talk about the Players of the Week from last week. The Falcon Award went to Daryl Miner. Your thoughts on Daryl's play?
He played really well, and he's another young guy been put in a tough spot because he's had to, due to injuries and different things, kind of move back and forth from running back to linebacker. He had to go back to linebacker when we moved Drew back to quarterback. So, for a sophomore to kind of move back and forth and do as much as he has, a real credit to him. He's getting better, and we're excited about his future for sure.
We've already talked about last week's Offensive Player of the Week, Drew Sanders, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Defensive Player of the Week, Tyron Bridgewater.
Yeah, Bridgewater played a good game, had a couple pass breaks up, a big interception, went up and got a ball, and that's going to be real important here tonight. Bridgewater's going to be a big factor. They throw the ball, not a lot, but they do throw it enough to keep you honest, and they like to throw the deep ball. So he's going to get a couple opportunities, kind of like that jump ball the other night. Hopefully he can get another one or two.
This guy's been making big plays on special teams all year long, but last week's Player of the Week, Zachary Graham.
Yeah, he's been his nickname is Bill Bates. I don't even think he knows who Bill Bates is. That shows you how old we all are to know Bill Bates. But he's really one of those guys that has taken his role and has helped us in all the different special teams that he's on. Takes pride in it. He encourages the other guys to do the same thing, and has just been a great leader for us.
JV level, co-players of the week, Nick Cagnetto and Ryan Hall.
Yeah, Nick and Ryan are both have great futures here. Nick has kind of been thrown into the quarterback role because of what we've had to do up on the varsity. We had to actually move up Engel, our other freshman, to be the backup last week. So Nick is a really good cornerback. He's going to be a really good cornerback for us next year. By the end of the season, we get lucky enough to get in the playoffs, he'll be up with us traveling too. He's a good player there, and we're excited about both of those guys. And
the freshman player of the week, Trevor Lindsay.
Trevor plays tailback and linebacker for us. He's a good athlete and really not what you call natural born running back, but he's taken that role and team leader on both sides of the ball.
Very good. Well, Coach, this week the Falcons travel to Little Elm. It's going to be the Battle of the Bridge. And Lake Dallas and Little Elm has plenty of history in the past playing each other, and it's interesting. I want to go off track a little bit here, but we're back in the same district. I feel like we should always be in a district, let alone from a rivalry standpoint. It just seems so natural. What are your thoughts on the way we redistrict every 2 years? Lake Dallas has seemed to find itself in this kind of, I guess, in a nomad type position where we keep traveling between districts. But talk about this potential rivalry at Little Elm, and would you like to see something like that moving forward into the future?
It's been hard for us with them. It's the scheduling. You never know whether you're going to be in the same district. You almost have to have a lock in your non-district games. You can't say somebody, well, hey, if we're not in the same district, let's play week 2. People don't understand that, but you have to have almost a for sure deal in your non-district, because if I was to schedule Little Elm, let's say week 2 in a non-district game, we got put in the same district, well, I'm going to be looking for a week 2 game after the realignment, and 5 minutes after that realignment happens, it's hard to find games. It gets so you really can't get those in those situations, which is, I think it's part of the problem with the realignment itself. We need to have some time so you can renew rivalries with people that you may not get in your district. I don't know the perfect way to do that, but I wish it would get fixed. But it's nice to play them. But like our kids, these guys up here have never played them. It's been a long time. I don't know. It's been several years since we even played Little Elm. So, and I was telling somebody the other day, they were saying, well, it's great. Maybe we'll get this rivalry going, but it's a real good chance in 2 years Little Elm's going to be 3,000 people, kids in their school in 6A, and we're not. If we're still 1,200, which we will be, we're not going to play a school that's that size. So, these 2 games here could be the last for us in a while, unless Little Elm was to build another high school and split and get smaller, because they're getting so many kids over there right now in school.
Interesting. One of the last games we played over there was when Cole Beasley was their quarterback. Mm-hmm. We had some pretty good shootouts with them.
Really good games.
Yeah. So the Lobos enter this game with a overall 5-3 record. They also, like the Falcons, are 3-2 in district. Basically, the way I'm looking at it, this game is shaping up kind of for that final playoff spot, more than likely in our district. Is that the way you see this game?
Yeah. This is we win tonight. Little Elm would still not be out of it. They still play McKinney North at McKinney the last game, and they could still win that game and create a 3-way tie between the 3 of us for 2 spots. But for us, obviously, we have to win. I mean, there's really no other way. So this is a must-win for us, and we kind of control our own destiny in a lot of that. That could still come down to some points later, but we're still in good shape, and this. We were going to have to beat one of these teams to get in, Little Elm, McKinney North, or the Colony, and this is one of the games we're going to have to win to get in.
Well, in order to win this game, it looks again like the Falcons going to be facing a pretty good running team. They have 2 running backs that average about 6 yards a carry. Between them, they have close to 1,500 yards. So I think the key to this game is keeping that running game in check for the Lobos.
Yeah, it's going to be amount of snaps. We need to control the ball a little bit on offense and run. Hopefully, the running game can carry over a little bit more, keeping our defense off the field. And we need to make them punt. Get some 3 and outs, and that's going to be the key. One of the keys for the game, because they have a big offensive line and they do have 2 running backs, so they can kind of wear you down. So that's going to be something interesting to see. From the fan standpoint early in the game, is how much we're on the field defensively and getting stops.
And we touched on this early in this interview, but offensively, I think Drew Standers is going to get the start, but you mentioned all 3 quarterbacks could potentially be available for this game. Falcons just going to have to put some points on the board, and what do you anticipate in that quarterback situation, honestly?
Well, Drew's the only one that's really been able to practice all week, actually for the last couple weeks. So we did get Ryan back to practice, on Thursday. Fredrickson was going to get cleared today too. So, but those guys haven't practiced really at all. Fredrickson hadn't really practiced in any kind of a situation in several weeks. Ryan hasn't for a couple. So, but it is nice that we have those guys cleared and ready to go if something is to happen. So, because this is one of those games you don't want to go into with a really inexperienced. Engel has been out for the first 6 weeks with a broken finger. We didn't want to have him be put in his second high school game to be a varsity game to get in the playoffs. He's a good young player, but that would be hard. So it's nice just to have those guys in case we need them for sure.
Right. Well, hey, we look forward to a great one in Little Elm. Go take that bridge, the bridge trophy back. And, Coach, we appreciate the time. Have a great game.
All right, thanks.